Hi, and welcome to Game Creation, and today's video we're just going to be finishing off the snake. So we had an error when the player goes off screen, it crashes and does all sorts of nasty things, and we should have really a starting screen and a finishing screen and make this more of a complete game. So hopefully a quick video just to finish this off, and yeah, let's get started. So you can see the issue at the moment is when you go off the screen, then you get this this error here. Basically, the new Y is not defined, and it just starts glitching up. So if you look here, we know why, because the array only has 20 places in the X and 12 places in the Y, and it starts at 0. But if new X is -1, which it can be, or if new y is -1, or if new x is 20, or if new y is 12, it just will look into the array, realize there's nothing there, and in computers that's not good. Now what we can do is we could have an if statement here to check the new x and new y, and then put all of this into the if statement, so continue going on if that's true. But actually that's going to be really hard to maintain because you'll end up nesting and nesting and nesting, which we're already doing loads here. So what we need is a kind of breaker to say, right, no, stop now if that's true. So let's do the if statement first. So this is the if statement for something's gone wrong. So player outside of screen. Okay. So we'll think about the condition here. So new x will be less than 0. We don't want that. New x would be greater or equal to 20. And then new y will be less than 0. And then new y will be greater or equal to 12. So those are all things that mean the player's gone off the screen. Now we want that, or that, or that, or that, and or in JavaScript is hold down shift and press the backspace, which is the bottom left on most keyboards, and it's two of those. That just means or. So if any of these are true, so the player's gone too far to the left, too far to the right, too far up, too far down, then go into this function. Now we're going to probably have an end screen here, but I want to say, right, stop this function, don't do anything more because it will break if you do. And simple word for that is return, if you can spell it correctly. There we go. And return just stops the function, so this won't, none of this will happen if the return's called. Return means get out of the function. Okay. So let's save that and see whether it's fixed our problem. Okay, so I'll go straight down and perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now I can't control it anymore. Oh, I can control it. Oh, that's not good. So I can still control it because it's just basically ignoring the side of the screen. So yeah, I can still control it. So we need like a game over screen or something there. So we need to code that in here to say game over. So let's make a function for that, I think. Where is it sensible? Let's do it right at the top. So start screens. Start screen. And we'll do a function to draw the start screen. So start or show start. Okay, so we'll have a start screen, so what we'll need to do is we will need to, where is it here? So we'll need to clear everything off the screen, first of all. So that, remember, clears the screen. And then we do context.fill text. So we want some text on the screen. So, I don't know, press space to start. Okay, so you write down the text that you want, then the position is, and this is a bit of guesswork, we want it in 100, 100. Bit of guesswork, and we'll see whether that's good. We're going to call this at the start, which is going to cause a problem. And let's save that. Let's just refresh. Okay, so it's caused a problem because the game has actually started, and we don't want the game to start. So what we need is a way of not letting the game start. So let's just have a look and see. So it's this bit here we don't want. So let's cut that. And what we need is another function to say only do this when the player's pressed space. Okay, so we're going to have our a thing here, an event listener, to say if they've clicked space, then we want them to start the game. And we'll go back to our website here, which is keycode.info, and press space. So it's 32. Let's copy that, paste that in. And so we only want that tick movement to start when they've pressed space. We don't want the game to start until then. Okay, let's see whether this is closer to what we want. So press space to start, and I've pressed space and it started. How cool is that? There we go. Now, I can still go off screen, I can still carry on, which is not what we want. So that's the start there. And the reason why I've made this a function is because we want to show that at the start, but we also want to show that if the player has gone outside of the screen. Now, the problem is that this interval will still happen. So if I save that and press space to start, press space, let's go down here. Works nicely. Oh, there we are. I can still move it. Okay, so we don't want that. So you can actually still play on. It doesn't look like you can, but you can still play on. What we want to do is stop the interval happening. Now, there's no way of doing that at the moment because of the way we've set interval. However, if I name the interval game playing or gameplay timer or whatever it is, if I name the interval that I've created, I'm going to call it gameplay timer, then what I can do is a function called clear interval, and we're going to do that here. So clear interval, and I think I just passed that in there. So if I save it, try it now, and now the gameplay timer is not defined, which is to be expected, because what I should now do is copy that, and I need to create it on the outside. So I need to have created it and then pause it all at the same time, because this is basically saying this doesn't exist because it only exists when you press space. So you need to put something in there. Let's see whether that works. There we are. Press space. I actually have to click into it. Right. Let's press space. There we go. And finished again. Press space to start. And it doesn't let me press space a second time. And I think that's because I haven't reset any of the stats. So I need to copy all of this, and I just need to reset the stats here. So moving the player back into a position, creating food, and setting the score back to 1. Let's copy that and see whether that works. Because I think what was happening is the player was just off screen. Oh wow, doubles up. Still not working. So obviously I need to get rid of the creating food. In fact, I can get rid of all of this now, because this is all done when the player presses space. So when they click space, and I should really have something else to check that they're not within the game there. So if the key code's 32 and, I don't know, the game's not running, and I suppose I could have a boolean here saying game not running equals true, and etc, etc. I'm not going to do that now. So there's something else here. So if I save that and run it, this is all the investigating. Oh, score is not defined. Okay, so I've moved score out. Maybe I need to just have them created here. This is within a function, so I need to say that they exist here and then just refer to them there. And let's see whether it's moaning anymore. Oh, perfect. Right, and let's try and get that space to work. I suppose we could look at the array. So if we, here it is. If we have a look at the array creation, I think that's what's happening is it's remembering the old game. So let's cut that out and let's do all of that when space is pressed, and that needs to be at the top. Now remember that the tile array needs to be created on the outside, so we'll create the tile array, so it can be created here, create the tile array here. Okay, let's save that. So I think what was happening is it's remembering the old position of the player, and so every time you press space it is running, it's just instantly realising that the player's gone off screen. So hopefully it's a stubborn beast. And this is kind of what happens. So yeah, so I get rid of that because that's created there. Score gameplay timer. So I've created the gameplay time variable, so this won't complain because there is a variable, it's just there's nothing in it. And this will create an interval afterwards. Save that and see if that's done anything different, which I don't think it has. Okay, right, so let's do a bit of debugging. And so what I do is I want to check to see whether this is being, or yeah, draw screen's being called. So what I'm going to do is console.log, and I'm just going to copy that and just paste it in here so that I can see that it's being called. And so when I'm playing the game it should come up. There we are, it's come up. So it's come up 7 times and it's stopped now. So if I press space, it has come up. So it's doing a frame and then booting me straight out every time I press space. So that is what we expected. We expected it actually did play when you press space, but then something's remembered something. And something cool we can do is actually look into the array itself. So I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to get rid of the quotes because we're just going to spit out the tile array and we can see exactly what's going on. So let's press space, and let's crash instantly. Okay, so those are all not worth investigating. It's this next one I want to see. So let's have a look. That all looks good. That's where the food was. This can be quite tedious. So the food is there. Where did we create the player? Players created at 0, 5. So let's have a look at 0, 5. There we are, that's the player. That all looks absolutely hunky-dory when you're looking through this array. Everything looks like what it should do, but obviously there's something that's not. Or actually I might. So when you restart a game, you've got to change everything back to the way it was. And here we've started with the direction right, but to go off the screen I had to click left. So I just need to reset that back to direction right. You only need to do the var when you declare the variable. Every other time you use the variable, you don't need to use the var anymore. So hopefully this will work. Come on. Right, so go off the screen and I lose, press space again, and it plays again. Excellent. And it resets everything. This food is still random, so it doesn't always go in the same place when you fall off. So if I die now, it won't appear there, it will appear somewhere else, which is really good. It's kind of what you expect. And the final thing I want to do is just make sure the score comes up at the end. And so we'll tear ourselves away from this, and we want the score to come up. So the score should come up on the start screen. So what we can say is, what we can do is put a parameter in the function, and it's going to be score. And this is just one way we can do this. And so what we say is, if the score thing exists, then show something. Otherwise, or else, show this fill text here. And tab that. And we'll have restart. And we'll have, I don't know, we can have another one. And so we'll have score, and then we're going to add on the actual score that they received. Cool, and we need to change the height, so we'll make this slightly lower down, so I don't know, 150, and we'll sort out the heights later on. Okay, so this function needs to have something in this parameter. So for the starting screen, I'll put false in, and then it will just show this bit here. And then for the other time we use it, we're going to just put the score in there. Let's save that. Restart it, and let's take a food and there we are. Score 2. Press space to restart. Score 1. And remember, we started the player off with a score of 1 because we're nice. Alright, let's get some more score. Perfect. Now you can actually change the font size of this. So if we go back here, and you can change all sorts of things about the font, wherever the thing is. Lost it. It's up at the top. So what do we say? Context.font equals, I don't know, 30 pixels. I can never spell this. Arial, I think it is. So you just put the font size, which is in pixels. Doesn't have to be, but I'm going to use pixels, and then the font name. And there's different ways of doing this. There's loads of different ways of doing this. And so press space to begin, or to start. And then when you die, there we are, score 1, press space to restart. There you go. And the final thing, I think I said yesterday we'll do, is we're going to say here, we're going to have another if condition, and we're going to say if it is greater than 0, then we want context.fill style equals black, and then we'll do an else, and we'll have a nice red. And some colours as word to work, you can actually put in all sorts of different ways of describing colour there. And so this hopefully will make all our food red. You can pick any colour you want. And those arrays are annoying me, so what I'm going to do is just quickly get rid of that console log. And there we go. Ooh. And some of these foods are quite difficult to get. And it just has a bit of contrast to our game. So they're not all the same colour. It's a bit easier to see when the snake is about to eat the food, but they haven't eaten it yet. There we go. And if you wanted it to be a bit more of a challenge, you could have the speed change by making the interval occur more frequently, so just changing the number to make it a lower number. But I hope you enjoyed this series of videos. And I think I'm going to go back to ClickTeam next week. I haven't yet decided, but there was a good suggestion I just got just now, suggesting that we do Snake but in ClickTeam, and kind of it might be a good opportunity to explore the differences between ClickTeam and Javascript. And maybe I just use this project and just import it over, but I'm way too addicted to Snake, so I'll let you go and I'll see you next week. If you enjoyed this video and you've got other suggestions of videos for me to do, it can be anything to do with basic programming or whatever, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more from us, please click subscribe. We release videos every single weekday at 7 PM UK time. Thank you.